Life is mysterious. Striving for understanding amidst these mysteries, humans created a process known as the scientific method. It goes a little something like this. Ask a question, research the question, formulate a hypothesis or educated guess based on your research, experiment, analyze data obtained, and then draw a conclusion. Either the results aligned with the hypothesis partially, fully, or not at all. This is the way of the scientist. All of us use a form of the scientific method every single day. We run through all of these steps as a mental algorithm, making decisions in the blink of an eye. We are all scientists, searching for understanding, knowledge, a way to better our lives. Any fitness enthusiast or individual involved in competition knows all about measuring health-related variables and conducting self-experiments. Hi, I'm Jay Malone, and I'm a scientist on a mission to advance personalized medicine using my company, Ascend Biology. When I became a competitive natural bodybuilder, I had to start measuring calories, watching my weight, micronutrient intake, water intake, and a whole plethora of unfamiliar at the time to me, body composition related variables. This required me to become familiar with all of the tools necessary for measurement and adopt new and sometimes difficult lifestyle habits. This is also what introduced me to the world of health tracking. I started off using Excel to track the 3 macronutrients, protein, carb, and fat intake, along with a food database that my nutrition coach at the time gave me, and a food scale so I would know with decent accuracy how much of a macronutrient I was getting. I also kept a detailed handwritten workout log in a notebook. Around the same time as my first bodybuilding competition, I began studying pharmacy prereqs at the local community college. In high school, I didn't pay too much attention to classes, mainly just the chicks. In college, however, I fell in love with science, and studying was taking up much of my time. Writing everything down by hand was taking its toll, so I had to find a new, efficient way to track all of my health variables and body metrics. Enter the smartphone. The apps on the smartphone were an amazing time saver. They also opened up my eyes to a whole new world of possibilities. Using data visualizations, or data viz, supplied by the apps, I was able to see very quickly the composition of my diet on any given day, week, or month, drilled down to micronutrient density in aesthetically pleasing graphic interfaces. Were there any noticeable trends or correlations regarding the day of the week and the food consumption? I now had the tools to answer that. It was also very motivating to see my weight lowering at a healthy rate as shown by a line graph, indicating I was most likely retaining a good amount of muscle while losing body fat. I quickly realized the potential of these applications to aid the masses in health data-driven decisions. Statistical analysis now became user-friendly. I was treading in what is now known as quantified self territory. Coined by Gary Wolfe, quantified self is a movement of data-loving analysts who track biometrics and self-related data. If you haven't yet heard the term, I'm sure you have seen the tools of the trade. Companies like Fitbit, Body Media, Jawbone, and Garmin are a few big names among the expanding sea of new wearable tech. I also realized the overwhelming nature of quantified self-experiments in the absence of reasonable guidance. What do I mean by reasonable guidance? Just like a well-established, time-tested recipe, a quantified experiment guide would be extremely useful to save time and sanity and keep the focus of the quantified self-experimenter honed on a specific goal. Our goal at Ascend Biology is to highlight the use of technology to make these data-driven decisions which better health and wellness from a biological standpoint as we currently define it, survival and reproduction, or simply fitness. Benefits of this goal are physical, mental, emotional, and possibly immortal. Side effects are usually flat stomachs, resilience to infection, and an overall sense of well-being. If this sounds enticing, open up Notepad and listen carefully. This is the Beginning Experimenter's How-To Guide for Preventive Health Maintenance. If you haven't recently, schedule an appointment with your general practitioner for an overall health checkup. This should be appropriate to your age and gender and should include blood tests and basic examinations as well as a skeletal examination. Your doctor may send you to a chiropractor or an orthopedic specialist for this one. This is also the point where you can tell your doctor you are practicing preventive health and discuss this guide with them. A doctor worthy of your time and money will be willing to help you along this journey as much as possible, and not simply be a pill pusher. If your doctor is unwilling or hesitant to prescribe these basic tests based on their opinion of how you look on the outside, it may be time to find a better doctor. After you have your basic well-being results from your checkup, it is now time to dive further into the body's biochemistry using available, reputable services and data-gathering wearable devices. This is when it starts to get exciting. As a skeptic citizen scientist, it is your responsibility to find companies with trustworthy researchers and employees, at least by their resumes and accolades. This is very important, and due diligence is a must here. As emerging fields, preventive health maintenance and quantified self will undoubtedly have so-called spin doctors and sleazy scientists backing snake oil companies just looking for a quick buck. Based on our research at Ascend Biology, we have decided the following testing will be beneficial and allow action to be taken towards our main goal: fitness. Blood testing and analysis, DNA testing and analysis, and microbiome testing and analysis. A search on the internet for any of those three terms will yield prospective companies that are capable of performing said tests and analysis. The data is as important as the analytical methods, and context of all biomarkers must be considered. This is where a reliable general health practitioner will come in handy. Until a systems biology approach is taken and a computer program created which can perform multivariable cross-analysis much more effectively than a human. While the previously mentioned services apply to everyone, the wearable devices can vary person to person. For example, we all have different behavior patterns and motivators. A pedometer wristband that gives the user a daily step goal along with reminders may be all they need to obtain their recommended daily cardio activity. While another person who is attracted to workouts based on heart rate and related measurements, as well as seeing a dashboard with progress data visualizations, will thrive with that kind of setup. Remember, the overall goal here is to be active without cluttering your life with fad tech that will be sitting in a drawer a few months after you buy it. As someone obsessed with data and in love with rich, meaningful visuals, I use heart rate variability monitors, weight scales, and body composition measurement tools with relative frequency based on literature recommendations for said devices, which brings us to our last step. These are measurements we believe should be taken by everyone frequently based on the research behind them, as well as apps and final suggestions. Using a heart rate monitor in the form of a patch, chest strap, or other reliable ECG technology, one can measure heart rate and heart rate variability daily for insight into their central nervous system. Pairing a heart rate monitor with a reputable software can also enable the user to practice biofeedback techniques during yoga, deep breathing, and even daily activities such as presentations or driving. In order to see how your body is changing on the inside over time, certain blood tests can be performed over the course of a year. We recommend the following blood biomarkers to be measured every 3 months for a quick response to early warning signs of performance hindrance, and to simply see if your diet, exercise, and overall lifestyle are optimal for you. Stress-related biomarkers, hormone-related biomarkers, infection and immune response biomarkers, and diet-related biomarkers. Some blood testing companies offer package deals under names such as Overall Health Test, Performance Health Test, etc. There are many apps out there related to health. Here are a few suggestions to get you started. Using apps with timers along with a daily schedule can greatly reduce the stress of disorganization and keep you from being a victim of no time for this stuff syndrome. Those are the 3 steps in the beginning experimenter's guide to preventive health maintenance. I know it was a lot of information, but you can watch this as many times as you like, and I encourage you to visit us at ascendbiology.com for links to services, products and companies we have worked with and we recommend based on their staff and company vision, as well as other health-related news and educational material. Technology is great at automation and computing, and we believe it should be as unobtrusive as possible and not add to the daily stresses of living in a fast-paced society. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, rate, comment, and just be a participant in advancing the future of personalized medicine. Take care.